Has your husband ever given you the silent treatment where he just shuts down and won't talk? It's confusing, it's painful, and it leaves you wondering, what am I supposed to do next? Today, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to protect yourself, understand why he's doing this, and exactly what to say and do next. If you've ever experienced a silent treatment in your relationship, comment yes below the video. I want to hear from you, and it also helps other women who are in similar situations know that they're not alone. If your husband gives you the silent treatment, the first thing you need to do is to protect yourself with really good self-regulation techniques. Because the longer you sit in the silence, the harder this is on your nervous system. It's actually one of the most dysregulating things in a relationship. We'd rather get negative comments, criticism, anger from our partner versus just cold and silence. There's a reason in the old times, as a way to punish prisoners, they would put them in solitary confinement without any interaction with any human. In some way, you're kind of going through this. If you're living in a house with a husband who's not talking to you and is making you feel ignored, this can feel very painful and almost like a punishment. Think of it this way. When he shuts down, your brain goes into overdrive, replaying the argument, worrying if he's angry, wondering what you did wrong. Maybe even you feel abandoned. In any case, it's very anxiety provoking. And this stress is sitting in your body. So what you need to do is you need to self-regulate, because in a situation like this, you are probably very dysregulated. Now, here's what self-regulation looks like in daily life. You can take a walk out for 20 minutes a day just to calm your nervous system. Journal about your feelings. Literally writing, in this moment, I feel angry and I feel very hurt and abandoned. The more you do this, the easier it's going to be for you to process these painful feelings that you're sitting with. And finishing with a sentence of what's missing for you. So I'm feeling very hurt that my husband is punishing me like this or is hurting me like this. I feel hurt, I feel small. And we know in psychology, when you give it a verbal label, it makes the emotion more tolerable and less intense for your nervous system. Put on some soft music or podcast while you're making dinner instead of just sitting in that tension. Or text a supportive friend. Let them know, can I just vent to you for 5 minutes? I'm just going through a very hard time right now. But really lean on your support system, whether it's your family, spending time with them, spending time with friends, signing up for sports classes. If it even helps you to spend more time outside of the home, do that, right? Because I know when you're going through a phase of silent treatment with your partner, home can feel very heavy, because this is a person that you want to feel the closest to, and they're not talking to you and you feel very distant. So when you come home, you have to face that distance, and that's very hard on your nervous system. These small actions keep your nervous system and body stable and grounded so you don't explode later. Now, in the comments, write calm if you're going to try one of these strategies. If you've already picked one, I really want to cheer you on and encourage you to go ahead and do it this way. The silent treatment is a pattern that can quietly destroy your relationship if you let it. So before it takes over, you have to stop it. And that starts with knowing exactly where the weak spots are in your relationship. And this is why you absolutely need my relationship test. This test is completely free, and it tells you exactly what the strength of your relationships are. But more importantly, it will tell you the vulnerabilities of your relationship. When you get the results from this test, you'll know immediately what you need to work on next in your relationship. Without this clarity, you'll keep spinning in the same cycle, overthinking and wasting energy on the wrong things. Take this free test. It will give you exactly what you need to begin fixing your relationship. You can download this test at ParisaCounselling.com/relationship test, or find it in the link in the description below. The second thing I want you to do is to understand the intent behind the silent treatment. Think about the reason your husband is giving you the silent treatment. This is because silent treatment happens due to different reasons. Sometimes your husband might be doing this to punish you or control you. Other times it may be because he feels unimportant, devalued, hurt, Or maybe he just doesn't know how to deal with fights, or if he feels flooded emotionally. So, as a way to protect the relationship or not have another fight, he goes into his shell. But if you want to know how to respond to his silent treatment, you first need to figure out the intention behind the silent treatment. Does he do this to make you feel guilty and to have an upper hand, or maybe even make you forget that there was a fight? Is it kind of a way to avoid accountability? Is this a power move on his part? Or is it more out of fear and helplessness and not knowing how to navigate things? So these are really important questions you need to ask yourself, because they tell you if this is something like bad communication skills or something more toxic and unhealthy. So how should you actually respond to your partner's silent treatment? By this point, you have found out their intention in giving you the silent treatment. Now that you've noticed a pattern, you're going to share that with your partner and let them know what the impact is on you. Instead of lashing out, which usually will get you more silence, calmly name what it feels like to be at the receiving end of the silent treatment. For example, when you don't speak to me for 2 days, I feel invisible and hurt. I want us to solve our problems together, but the silence is very destabilizing for me, and it makes it harder for me to trust you. In this situation, you're not complaining or nagging. You're simply describing the impact of this on your nervous system. And this gives you the biggest chance of being heard and changing the dynamic. Now, I wish I could tell you by just having a conversation, things would be fixed. In most healthy relationships, things can be fixed through dialogue and conversation. But sometimes these habits of your partner are so hardwired that even if they want to, they won't be able to change it through just a couple of conversations. Silent treatment sometimes comes from old upbringing, family dynamics. It's how they've learned to cope with conflict. So for you to change this pattern, you need something bigger and more in depth. And that's where couples therapy comes in. Couples therapy can be a great place to untangle that and work through this, because sometimes you need a professional to stop this pattern. And if your husband refuses to go through therapy, that tells you about how much he's willing to actually work on the relationship. And it's also a sign that he's maybe not seeing that he's playing a part in this and he's part of the problem. So that's something for you to consider. The next thing I want you to do is ask yourself the hard question. Sometimes the silent treatment is not just bad communication. It's actually emotional abuse. If your partner is doing this intentionally to punish you, control you, or make you feel destabilized or small, you have to ask yourself, do the benefits of staying in this relationship outweigh the costs for me? I know this is not an easy question to ask and decide on, but your mental health and safety come first. The silent treatment is not the only unhealthy pattern that can damage your relationship. Chances are, if you are dealing with silent treatment in your relationship, you're also dealing with a partner who gets defensive, and you need to know how to handle that too. That's why I put together a whole playlist on overcoming defensiveness in your relationship. It walks you through the habits that keep couples stuck and the exact steps to break free from them. You can watch the playlist on your screen right now.